super excited about this interview. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Chris Valdes. I'm with the Spheres Multimedia Group. We are collaborating with Wonky Power here in Houston, Texas, and very excited to have Shanae Speller here, founder of Compose Music Festival. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be here. I'm super happy to be a part of this and really excited to see like where you're going to go with this festival. You told me a little bit about it, and I want you to explain to everybody else like why you're here.
Absolutely.
So will you tell us a little bit about Compose and the music festival you got going on?
Okay. So I think it's important I start from the very beginning, how Composed even came about. So I do attend Howard University. I'm in my final year of the online MBA program. And in my first semester, I looked at the tuition and I almost passed out. And so in the first semester, I decided I was going to apply for the Hennessy Fellow Scholarship. And when I applied, I ended up getting it. And so one of the perks of the scholarship was I have the ability to create my own community project of my choice. And so I decided to come up with Compose Music Festival because I have spent 15 years as a hip hop artist, and then I have over 20 years in the healthcare field. And I just thought it was the perfect way to blend and mix the two. And so Compose Music Festival is a festival where we celebrate mental wellness, and we want to do that by empowering creativity and composition, which basically means using music therapy as an outlet and as a way to express yourself, and as a way to, learn new coping skills and possibly have the conversation towards ending stigma, because I think that's important.
Absolutely. So at what point did you think that, okay, I need to do something about this? Like what made you think about that?
Well, the pandemic for sure was one of the reasons that made me say, hey, we need to take a closer look at mental health. It's always been an issue within our communities, but I think since the pandemic, anxiety and depression have risen 30% over just a 2-year period. And so, it's clear. We can see it when we look at the news. We can hear it when we talk to our family and friends. And so I just felt like I wanted to be the person to do something to help that. Growing up, we had leaders. Right? We had community leaders. And so I look back and I'm like, well, now I'm at the age where I'm that person that has the ability to be that community leader.
Right.
And I don't take that for granted. So once I got the opportunity to create Composed, I was really excited to be able to be the person to bring this type of festival to the city. And it is the first of its kind. And I'm really excited about that.
I'm super excited about it as well. I think it's really wild though, like looking back and looking at our parents and looking back like at the generations before us, how they didn't have the resources that we have now. Like, so how are you going to impose that?
Well, we're going to have resources at the festival. And the whole thing is, I want to make sure that people are aware that music is an outlet. Writing, music composition is an outlet. Lyrical analysis is an outlet. When you hear music and you hear people writing these lyrics, they're not just writing lyrics or whoever's writing it. They're not just writing it because, it sounds good. It comes from somewhere. And that's the beautiful thing about music is that it's universal and it can touch so many people across so many continents, no matter what language you speak. So me, like I listen to a lot of Afro beats and South African music, and I don't know what they're saying, but I feel it, and it makes me feel good. Right. So, I just felt like music was really important. It changed my life, and I want to help to change, other people's lives.
Right. And so was there some sort of aha moment whenever you thought of this music festival? Did you experience something? Did you see someone experience something? Or was it just like, wow, I have this great idea, I want to roll with it?
Well, it's a little bit of both. So growing up in the Bronx, and I always say this, I grew up in the Bronx, which is the birthplace of hip hop, right? And I always say for me, I don't think that was a coincidence. It was a part of my destiny. And now being here, I understand that. Being the youngest of 3 siblings, the only girl, and I also had 2 parents who were addicted to drugs at the time, kind of left me to raise myself. And I went through a lot of different emotions as a young girl, right? So it was like, how do I express this? How do I deal with this? And it was music. Music always made me feel better. It always gave me that outlet that when I'm feeling down, I can always turn to music. I can write lyrics. I can express myself. I started out writing poetry. And so my professor used to be like, "You wrote this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wrote this." And I think one of my most memorable poems was me writing about how I wish there was a world with no pain. And so when he read it, he was like, "I'm entering you into the who's who of writers, and it's a whole book." And I was like, "No, you're not. You say that to all the kids." And then next thing you know, like 2 months later, I received this big, thick book in the mail, and it was like who's who in writing, and I think it was like 95, 96, and I was in there, and my poem was in there, and I think that was the first indication that told me like you can really do this,
Right.
and I ran with it from there.
Okay. So tell me more about the festival. What's going to be happening at this festival?
So everything is going to be happening at the festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to have live workshops, really interactive workshops. So one of the workshops is a improvisational music workshop. So we have Coffee, who is going to be doing the drumming for the workshop. And it's basically like him teaching you how to let your hands dance. So it's just like your feet. When you go to a club or you go to a party, the music comes on and boom, you instantly just start jamming and dancing, and it makes you feel good. It increases your mood. It's the same thing with instrument playing. So, you don't always have to know technique. It's just about allowing your heart and your hands to dance on the instrument. And I think a lot of times people are intimidated by instruments because they think you have to know the notes and you have to know how to play. And if you want to do it professionally, then yeah, you should know. But if you want to do it just to kind of increase your mood, build camaraderie amongst you and your peers, and just create this atmosphere of acceptance, then improvisational music playing is a great way to do that. So
Right.
one of the workshops is going to be drumming.
Okay. And tell me more about the performers that are going to be there.
So the performers, so excited. We have a few poets, we have some singers, and then we also have some hip hop artists. So we have MC Kodak, who was a poet. We have Shawnee, who was a poet. We have dark skinned Devontae, who was a hip hop artist, but he's a mental health advocate.
Okay.
So if you go to his Instagram page at dark skinned Devontae, you can see that a lot of his content just talks about mental advocacy and mental health. And he himself battles with it. So he's able to discuss it from another perspective. So I love his music. I think he's really strong. And I just love how he expresses himself. And that's exactly what it's all about. Not being afraid to express what you're dealing with and what you're going through. So Compose, we want to create a safe space, a safe atmosphere, so people can feel safe enough to express themselves, express what they're going through, or even at least just listen to others, which may open the doors for them to maybe express themselves in the future.
Okay. So the day of the event, I wanna know more about this. What's the layout gonna be like? Is it just gonna be straight up music? Is it gonna be we're gonna have panels and vendors lined up? And tell me more about that.
Yeah, but let me go back to a few more artists,
Okay.
because they're really important. The headliner is Marcus Clay,
Okay.
and Marcus Clay is newly signed to Def Jam, and he's super dope.
Yeah.
Okay, like when I say he's refreshing, he's a new voice in the industry,
Okay.
and he doesn't talk about what everybody is talking about. He could talk about girls and guns and cars and clothes, but he chooses to use his platform to speak on real life situations, things that he's been through, how he sees it. And it has gotten him this far. And he's a very talented artist. So I feel very honored to have him as a part of Compose Music Festival. And I just definitely had to say that and shout him out.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, DJ Shantae is going to be there,
Yeah.
and DJ C. Watts. And then we also have Dante Higgins, who is another super talented hip hop artist out of the Houston area.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds very exciting. I'm really excited to see this. And you said Marcus Clay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So on Instagram, it's Marcus Clay, Marquus Clae.
Just signed a Def Jam.
Just signed a Def Jam. I say this, and I'm not even being modest or anything, or even boasting.
Uh-huh.
Let me say that. I'm not even boasting, but he is the GOAT. He's the next new
Yeah.
GOAT for this generation.
Okay.
Lyrically, he's unmatched. He's one of
Yeah.
my favorite out right now.
Yeah.
So he can stand up along the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, the Joyner Lucases. Like, he's that dope. So definitely come out to Compose because he doesn't perform often. And you got to catch him now because within a year or so, he's going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely gonna check him out. So looking at this whole festival, I know that it takes a lot of work to put an event together like this.
Yes.
It's a lot of work on top of living your personal life. Tell me something about the obstacles that you've run into. Like, how has that molded you as a person, and like how has that molded this event coming up?
Well, let me say it is a lot of work,
Right.
right? But I'm built for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Oh, you're a Bronx girl, so.
I am a Bronx girl and I'm very strong, but I also knew that coming in, it was going to be a lot of work. So I prepared myself mentally for the ups and downs. You know, I knew that I was going to encounter certain situations where I had to remain composed through it because people are still watching me. And they're like, if you're going to put on a festival about composing, you need to remain composed. But I'm still human.
Right.
You know, so a few of the obstacles I've had to face so far was just maybe things not being in place when they were supposed to be in place, or people not doing things in a manner in which I thought they would do them. So I kind of learned about agreements and making sure you put the right things in agreements, making sure that you have to pick the right artist. You know, and I think I did. I think I picked the right artist. But I didn't really have too many hangups. You know, not to be funny, I didn't really have too many hangups because I've studied this business. I've been in this business for a long time, so I knew what was needed. It's just putting it all together. You know.
Okay. So since this is evolving into something big, like what are some things that you find like as an expression as far as being composed? Like, what do you do as far as mental health? Like, how do you keep
Yes.
composed?
I remain composed by continuing to write. So I'm a writer. I like to express myself. I may not be able to talk to somebody face to face because I may not feel comfortable with what I want to get off my chest. But if I write it, then nobody can really see it. It's just between me and God, or it's just between me and myself. And I read it, and then it kind of helps me to get it helps me to get grounded. I also meditate. I do a lot of meditation. I need quiet time.
Right.
You know, the world is so busy. We're doing so much. I'm in school part time. I work full time, building the festival full time. So sometimes you just have to shut the lights down, cut off all the noise, and just meditate. Exercise is also another outlet for me. I love to exercise. I love to challenge myself. And when I'm feeling frustrated, by running or rowing or lifting, it helps me to kind of like push those emotions out.
Right. So, what does the future of Compose look like to you?
Oh, it's big.
Tell me about that.
Oh, it's big. To me, I see us partnering up with the NBA. I see us going to other major cities in Texas and within the United States. I even had a DJ contact me about 2 weeks ago. He tours Africa quite frequently. And so he was telling me about the suicide rate, how it's increasing in Kenya. And of course, you know, their resources are not like our resources. So he was saying to me, it would be awesome to have composed in Kenya. And mind blown. What? This is the first year. What do you mean I need to be in Africa? That's exactly where I want to go.
Yeah.
So to get that call, it was just confirmation for me that, I'm doing the right thing. I'm helping a lot of people, and I want to just continue to do that. So I just see us growing bigger and stronger, working with different artists in the industry who also speak on mental health,
Right.
and it's becoming more prevalent in hip hop. So I'm just excited to be the person to be able to bring composed out to my community so that we can get it that big, so we can have the conversations and it doesn't seem so awkward or redundant. And we just want to, create a new way to inject the conversation into the culture.
Right. You spoke a little bit on the resources. Now today in our day and age, like technology is a big thing. Is this something that you're gonna like implement as well? Because technology, I mean, it's kind of hard whenever, let's just say someone is really suffering with mental illness. You know, it's really hard. You know, especially with their schedule and stuff. Is there going to be some sort of resource like that at the festival? Maybe something like signing on to some website that they can actually call, or maybe through text message or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did partner with Mental Health America of Greater Houston, and on their website they have a mental health screening, and so we are going to be putting that link onto our website, and we want people to go on there, do your mental health screening, see if this is something that works for you. If you need to seek help, you know, where are you right now? Do you feel like you have anxiety? Because a lot of people may have anxiety but don't really know how to put a name to it.
Right.
A lot of people have depression and they may not know how to put a name to it or even feel safe, you know, speaking to somebody about it. Because another major thing that Composed is about is it's for family members as well. You don't necessarily have to have a mental illness. But let's say you're a family member who has a son or a niece or a nephew or a grandchild or a brother or sister who is suffering from mental illness, then we want to teach you the proper ways to support them. You know,
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, it's not just about giving them a hug and saying, I love you, I'm going to pray
Right.
for you.
Right.
We have to properly support our family members so that they can really get help.
I think that when people are suffering and they hear that constant, oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be fine, everything's going to be good, you know, it gets kind of repetitive, and, you know,
Yes.
you need that help. You need that mental health for you to power through this. And
Absolutely.
it's a big deal that a lot of people don't understand, that it's, you know, it's sort of a pandemic, you know, and we deal with it every single day. You know, I personally deal with it, and I know a lot of people that deal with it, and people mask it very well,
Yes, they do.
you know, and that's a skill in its own, you know, like people hide it very well, and I'm guilty of that myself. So
Same.
I am learning. I am learning to express. I am learning to talk about stuff, and I that's why I'm so excited about this event. I want to be there. We're gonna be there,
Yes, you guys are going to be
full
there.
force. We'll be there, videoing the whole process, documenting it, and really excited about it. So, last time we spoke, you mentioned an internship. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Or like what's gonna happen there?
Yes. So like I said, I've been rapping for over 15 years. Started out as a hip hop artist. I was actually supposed to sign a purple ribbon with Big Boy from Outkast. And so it was either between myself or Janelle Monáe. Before she was Janelle Monáe, right? And so they ended up going with Janelle Monáe, which I absolutely love because it just wasn't the right timing for me. But throughout the years and the process of going from being a hip hop artist to having my own online radio show, being one of the first in this region around 2008, and then going into content creation and artist development, that journey, first of all, helped me to build an incredible network, right? And then it taught me a lot about the business. And so here I am now, all these years later, fighting to still be a part of music. And to get the internship at Universal Music Group this summer was major for me because this is something I've always wanted my whole life. So shout out to Brew and Chris with Universal who interviewed me, and they definitely seen something in me. And, you know, one of them said, well, I don't know why you're interviewing. I'm going to be working for you one day. And I was like, no, but that's a gift and a curse because I want the experience and I want to be able to get that through Universal. But then I also am very talented, and sometimes I could be a little bit too modest, right? I don't speak on my talents enough. So Composed is that, plus getting the internship is just showing me like I was made for this. Again, this is all a part of my destiny. And when I was a young girl growing up, I had no idea that I would be here today, but I had to keep going. And I have friends who, when I told them, no, I'm gonna rap, they laughed. What do you you mean you're going to rap? I was in the Army. I'm a veteran, right? They're like, what do you mean you're going to rap? There's no money in that. And I'm like, it's not about the money. It's about what I really enjoy and love to do.
It's the message.
It's the message.
Right.
And so it kind of just came full circle. You know, Universal Music Group is the largest label in the world, not in the United States, in the world. And so for them to be able to see me, it means a lot.
Right.
And just to give you a brief story, my pastor, Pastor Catherine Jeffrey, who passed away now, she prophesied to me over 12 years ago. She said, you know, I see you on the cover of a magazine in a corner office, and it's going to be for something new, right? And I'm like, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm not going to be in no business suit. I was like, what are you talking about?
Right, right.
And she was just like, she was just like, okay, baby. And she just laughed. And so now, 12 years later, here I am. And I wish that she was here physically to see this, but she already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
She already knew. So I'm just grateful to have had her in my life to give me that vision, which powered me to keep going and to keep fighting.
Right. You've been manifesting this for
Absolutely.
a while, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So really excited about this. I'm so excited about seeing all the performers, all the panels, and all the resources that you're going to have available at this event. This is going to be Saturday, May 21st.
Yes.
From 12 to 5. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Saturday, May 21st, 12 to 5. It's going to be in the heart of 3rd Ward on Emancipation Avenue at Tribeca. The address is 2222 Emancipation Avenue. Tickets are on sale right now at composefest.com. General admission is $40 and VIP is $100, and VIP is stacked. Let me tell you what you get with VIP.
Okay.
You get express check-in. You get a mental health digital toolkit, which is what you asked me about. Like, how can somebody digitally, you know, learn and get these support skills and resources? And so we're going to be giving a mental health digital toolkit. We are sponsored by Hennessy. I definitely want to say that. And I'm really excited for Hennessy because they believed in me from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment that I won a scholarship and I was able to tell them about Composed, they were locked in.
Okay.
And I also want to send a major shout out to my mentors, Jasmine Allen, who is the Senior Vice President of Hennessy and the first Black woman in the C-suite for the company. And she is my mentor. And then also Sheila Hackbarth, who is also one of my mentors who have guided me throughout this whole process. And so it's not successful just because of me. It's because I have these powerful women and these powerful brands behind me who believe in community outreach and just believe in Composed and what I'm doing.
Well, I think you're doing amazing work. I'm really excited about seeing all this. And
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We're going to stay positive.
Of course.
And we're going to stay up here, right?
We're going to stay mentally well.
Right.
You know, that's what it's all about.
Right.
Staying mentally well and also being creative and learning to express yourself.
Exactly.
Because that's how we're going to be able to get through this crazy world.
Exactly. All right. So thanks for coming. I'm really excited. So we have the founder of Compose Music Festival here, Shanae Speller. I'm Chris Valdes with the Spheres Multimedia Group, and thank you so much for Wonky Power out of Houston, Texas, to hosting us, and we look forward to this.
Yes, thank you to Spheres Multimedia and Wonky Power. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.